Hello, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. John myself Fox here on the show. Is there Linda? And my mucker, Port Bear. How we doing, Linda? How we doing, Port?
Evening, Ox, Jerry. Evening, Port. Evening, everyone. I hope you're all keeping well.
All right, Ox. All right, Linda. Hope everybody's well. Good to be on.
Well, I don't know. The old Slimming Port Bear, no points since Sunday. Had my first solid today, so okay.
Aye. Aye, the inquest continues, mate. The inquest continues.
Listen, mate, as much as it hurts, we know what it's like against them. I think that sometimes we've got to put it in. We know we didn't play well. There was a lot of mistakes, but it's not the worst thing that's ever happened to our club. We lost a game of football, Porter.
Aye, that's a simplified answer, mate. Dignified answer.
I'm not saying I'm not.
Aye.
It doesn't hurt, and I feel all the frustrations, and sometimes I say things off there, Linda, that I maybe don't see on air. Yes.
Yeah, I totally understand that, Ox. Like it's an understatement to say it was hugely disappointing, and I think and you try and put things into perspective, add a bit of context, and it still doesn't detract from the fact that we were pretty awful, the both the players and the manager, their performance, and the really disappointing thing is that it was a game that was so much there for the taking, Ox. It was a trophy that we really could have won there. And we just didn't perform well enough again, Ox, and it's a constant theme. It's they've given us a lot of good times, but you've got to critique what's there, Ox. It's a bad performance again.
My problem with the performance isn't my problem with what's happened is this is us looking at it, Port Bear, and I'll go to you first, and then you can come back. And I've said this Saturday and Sunday, only my point of view. But it looked to me as if we played two players that didn't look match fit. Maybe they were. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they just did bad games, but they didn't look fit. Tillman and John Lundstrom. What?
I was hoping you were going to let me answer that one myself, and that's a very two, mate, that I thought looked not even 50%. Not even 50% they looked fit. I was confused why Raskin was left on the bench, because I thought Raskin could have been your straight swap for John Lundstrom, and Cartmel could have been your in the Tillman role, mate. I just think I know what he's done. I know he's went for the experience, and he's went for the guys that's been there at Hampden before and done it before. But it's like we always say on here, mate, there's no time for sentiment. And I think the Lundstrom one backfired. I think the Tillman one backfired. And
he didn't go all in, mate. He didn't go all in. If we'd have went for experience, you'd have thought that Jack would have been playing in that position, yeah?
Yeah. I just felt, I asked the question at the very start of the game, Oxter, to myself. I says, it's going to be a question of who wants it more. And first balls, second balls, Oxter, we were last at everything on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Linda, back to the original point about players not being fit, how did you see it along with the people you watched the game with? Because I know some of them are connoisseurs.
I don't know about that, but we'll give them that one, I suppose. Well, when my brother sent me the team, I had to look at it twice because I couldn't see Raskin's name, and first thought was, I hope he's no injured again. Then I looked down and I obviously saw him in the subs. Now, it's really, sometimes as a support, we're split on things, but everybody you spoke to, even on the show last week, we were all saying who's going to play alongside Raskin, Ox. And I don't know anybody that didn't have him in the starting team. Now, I understand that things could also have gone wrong, even if we'd started Raskin and possibly Cantwell as well. But the thing about that is it was freshness. It was something different. They've not played against them. But what we did get out of the two players that started in Kamara and Lundstrom is something that we've seen before. The lethargy, the lack of legs, the not tracking runners. So I get it that it still could have went pear-shaped, even if we'd started Raskin, Ox. But I still think it would have been worth taking the risk on him. And also just a wee point about the formation. Not only did we play Tillman, who was not match fit, but we also changed the shape and played him out in the right-hand side. That's not his strength. I honestly, the tactics and the formation were a major reason why we didn't win as well, Ox.
Yeah, I get it. I think there was things wrong. I just will stick to the fitness. We'll come in the rest later. No
Okay.
time to reflect and we've calmed down. But over the last calendar year, we've done this to Morelos. Yeah, we played him, got injured. We've done it to Tavernier. Let's not be kiddie. Tav wasn't fit when we played them in the Champions League game. It's all right saying it's commendable, or you're playing through the pain barrier, but if you're crap, it's not commendable, is it?
No, it's not. Definitely not, mate. I mean, but I've commended players for, you know, taking injections, taking, you know, painkillers, etc. to keep a first 11 on the pitch, and I've given guys a lot of praise for doing it, because there's guys that won't do it. You know, they won't put themselves out there and play through injury, etc. And maybe rightly so it is, but we are causing sometimes brain injuries, like you're saying, Ox. We made Alfie worse. We've probably made Tav worse this season. We're playing him through injuries. You know, it's risk reward, Ox. Yeah, for me, it's all right to risk these players and ask them to go to the well time and time again and play. But if there's no reward for that risk, then sometimes you need to save a player from himself. If he's coming to you and saying, Gaffer, I'll play, and you're like, right, fair enough. Right? If you feel that way, I'll let you play. But sometimes as a boss, you've got to take that, you know, risk with it and say, no, look, you're not fit. You're not fit enough. Your form's miles off. So I'm making the decision. I'm the gaffer here. I'm making the decision, and I'm taking you. And I think that's what Michael Beale maybe has to do, mate.
Right, so how do you do that, Linda? There must be a criteria where you go with the trainers, the physio, you have sets of exercises all set out to see that you're match fit. Yeah?
Yeah. He
And
would
then,
go, yeah.
Then you go to you do your process. You've got to go through certain drills and do them at certain paces to make sure that you show your match fit. Then you would be the physios to see if there's any reaction. And then you have to sit down with the manager, and the manager says, right, look you in the eye and say, listen, how are you? Are you match fit? And then they agree. So between the player and the manager and the fitness staff, it looks to us as they guys played no fit. I don't know if I'm being overcritical, but that's the way I've seen it.
Yeah, I would agree, Ox. I suppose there's always times where you've maybe got to put a strapping on or something like that, you know. So if Lundstrom's had an ankle injury, you know, if you played sport, we've taped up ankles before, and you know it maybe restricts your mobility a wee bit, but you can still get up and down the park, or you know you can make a valid contribution. But somebody like John Lundstrom just looked totally immobile. You know, he was caught out, and somebody, I mean, with Malik Tillman, it's slightly different. We kind of knew it was maybe a hamstring, wasn't it, Ox, or was it a calf knot for him as well? We weren't really 100% sure what exactly his injury was, but the thing about it, you know, sometimes we say, well, if they're fit enough to be on the bench, they're maybe fit enough to start. But this was a cup final. And it's also against a team that have got a really strong midfield. And we all spoke as well, Ox, that was going to be the major battle that we needed to compete in. And we just didn't have the fitness. And as you see, the match fitness that would have enabled us to do that, Ox, right from the off.
Yeah. Well, John Lundstrom's hardly played in a month, there. Really?
Oh, sure, I don't think he's played this season, mate. And I know that, mate.
Tynecastle, wasn't he? He was good at Tynecastle, the whole team.
Aye, yeah, that was his probably, you know, top game of the season. But John Lundstrom that finished off last season, mate, and in the run to the Europa final, that's the same man I wanted to see kicking on, mate, and being the real leader in my midfield in the engine room. And I did say as well, this game would be won, like Linda says. This game was going to be won in the midfield. That battle and that engine room, mate, was so crucial for me. And I think Raskin in his two performances warranted a start. I'm the same as you, Linda, same as you, Oxia. I thought it was Raskin and Ayala. And if you're going to really stiffen it up, go with the three in there. Like you touched on, Ryan, Jack, Raskin and Lundstrom, say we're talking sake. Or Kamara and Jack and Raskin. I just thought that would make more sense to me. We made a player that I think's a decent player look like a world beater who played at quarterback for him and was the challenge and untouched and absolutely dominated the midfield.
There was 20 minutes of that game before half time, mate. But as the game started turning, in about 35 minutes, mate, really, even 10 minutes before that. But that guy was getting 10, 15 years of space, mate.
Incredible, Oxia. Incredible. I mean, where's the instruction? I mean, you either say to Alfie, you need to drop in on him, or you say to whoever it is in midfield, you need to go and engage him. Everyone's coming through him. Go and engage. But I don't know, mate. It just to me, Michael Beale get his selection wrong, mate, and as Linda touched on, the formation and then the instruction for me, it didn't seem to be a real leader in the middle of that park, because that's where the problems are coming from, mate. The runners that were running after midfielders and there was no tracking, as Linda touched on as well. So, I mean, and being constructive with my criticism, I think Michael Beale takes a good 60% chunk of the blame, mate.
Oh, big call, Port. Big call. Right, Linda. Right, couple of questions for you.
Great.
All right. As poor as we were, yeah?
Yeah.
But, I mean, we're not denying we didn't play, yeah? And Sakala should have scored.
Yeah.
And arguably, Kent should have scored when he had the post. Same incident. So one of them should go in, yeah?
Yeah.
And it's a different game, isn't it?
Yeah. I think, if you think about even just up to that point, Ox, I think you guys touched on it, there wasn't an awful lot in the game the first kind of 30 minutes, wasn't it not? And then, there was some warning signs. And then
classic, was it?
No, it wasn't a classic, And then we're just thinking, let's get into, at half time, even like 0-0 and we can regroup, because unfortunately this group of players sometimes need this G up at half time. I don't know, as I say, that's a whole different conversation, maybe why they start so poorly in games. We've witnessed it for seasons upon seasons, it's not new. But it was a really good effort from Ryan Kent, and the way Ryan Kent's season's gone, it doesn't surprise you. It comes back off the post. It never even came out square to Alfie's got a tap in. It hits the outside of the post. But Fashion Sakalox has got to do better there. I mean, he could even take a touch, and I know Alfie's offside if he squares it to him right away, but if he takes a touch and then looks up and Alfie takes a step back, he can then square it to him to put in. He tries to put it in first time and he makes an absolute hash of it. And we Fashions had a bit of a nightmare of a week, in my opinion. We're not want to go back over all the things that he said in the media and all that, but he needed to go out and match up what he said on Sunday, and he had a poor game, Ox. But that moment, yes, that's one each, and that's a heck of a difference from 2-0 and going 2-1. If you equalise and it's one each, there's a real momentum shift, and then he's bringing on the three players as well, But that's at that level, Ox, you've got to score that chance there.
Yeah. That was a big moment. And then plus Tav's decision in the middle of the park. I accept people make bad decisions all the time, but they were the two big moments for me, yeah?
Oh, 100%. I totally concur with what you said there, mate. I think there was a lot of strange... The shape for me was very strange at times, Oxford. At times, I know Tav was trying to come into the middle and help in there. That's what I assumed he was doing. But for me, he's been concentrating on the wee guy that was buzzing around him for basically the full game, mate, the boy Maeda. he just got to have a torrid time. And I think, you know, there was a lot of communication between Goldson and Tav, you know, to say who's going to go. I just think Tav should have stuck to his job, making play as a right back at the weekend and let Fashion get on with whatever was going forward, because the job Tav's supposed to do, getting him going the other way, he was failing miserably at it, mate. So sometimes you just got to stick in and dig in and do what your job is, and that's to keep that guy out. I just think, you know, he got a lot of decisions wrong at the weekend as well, with his personal position and his personal play, mate.
Aye, that pass was a big moment, Linda. You know, I couldn't understand. The ball was down the line to Sakala, move her team up the park, yeah, and then it's still a different game, yeah.
Yeah, and if you think about some of the games against them, that pass has cost us. I know that the goal, you know, you've seen the goal multiple times inside that channel, and then crossing that ball. That's the way they play all the time, but they've done it effectively against us. But a lot of the times, Ox, it's come from that pass. If you think of that pass inside, you can't do that unless you're 100%. I mean, look at the one, you know, New Year as well. I know it's slightly different, but Alfie's played a blind pass inside, and I know there was time for us to make that up, you know, and we could have cleared it. But you can't play that pass inside like that. It's no fair on your teammates either, because you've got everybody then turning. You know, it's. That was as you say, Ox. It was too. Who knows what would have happened? You know.
No, I also accept he missed 2 sitters in the last minute as we Desperados kicked in, Linda. Yeah.
Yeah, but Ox. I mean, the thing about that is that we wouldn't have been pushing up as high as that. So, you know, if we hadn't been, trying to get the goal, if it was one each, or then playing conservative, it takes you back to the semi-final last year when we equalised. We weren't going gung ho. We were then happy to go into extra time because we knew we were very much in the game. But those are huge moments in games. But again, it goes back to your initial question about the fitness. We didn't have the overall fitness in a lot of areas as well. I mean, you mentioned Alfredo there. You know, Alfie didn't have. He's not in the best condition. We know that. But he's not the player he was to do all these roles that he was asked to do. He was trying to, you know, lead the line to a certain extent. He was trying to be involved in the press, and as Port alluded to, it was his job to try and put pressure on McGregor. He's not got the general fitness either to do all that just now, Ox. You know, it's a pity, because that's what you need in that type of game, and he's not the same player.
Would you took Alfie off? Yes or no?
Yes, but not after he'd scored, no. But I can see why you would maybe have taken him off before he scored. But when he scored, Ox, we should never have taken him off.
Port Bear, yes or no?
No, he was fired up. He was ready to rock and roll, mate, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought it was a mistake. That's what I mean. I get bringing Chola because we need a goal, so maybe went with the two of them. But, you know, maybe tried.
Aye, with Alfie, that's what I've done. With Alfie, somebody would have just been risked. Either go to a back three Oxford and throw an extra forward up front. You know, you win some, you lose some.
Aye, exactly.
Still, you know, to have a good game and get beat 3-1 and.
Anyway, I want to change the subject. You know, there's a lot of good things going on at the club today. I was speaking to Jaffa, who watched the game in Edmonton's house with his lovely daughter, and he had a great time and said it was, apart from the result, the thing was well organised, the sound, the vision was superb, and it looks as if it's going to be a real asset towards us. And I was speaking to another lady, Port there, who had her first visit to the Blue Sky Lounge.
Oh, but really?
Yeah. I heard they go there and then they had to get the police to get them out. They were there that long, but that's another story.
It was too much blue Prosecco.
How was it Blue Sky Lounge, Linda? I haven't had the pleasure yet. I will be going soon.
Absolutely fantastic. What a venue it is. I mean, it was actually not a bad venue anyway when it was just their Argyle House, you know, before they've done it up, Ox, but they've opened it up superb, and it's all new and fresh, and you've got the really great views over the stadium, and mean, I was there obviously for lunch, but if you were there at night, you know, you look out onto the pitch, they've got all the lights on and all that. It really, I know we're biased, but it really is a beautiful stadium, you know, and yes, there's certain things maybe need upgraded within it, but they've got themselves a gem there, Ox, and it was very busy, and I can't speak highly enough about the food and the service that we got. Overall, it was a really, really great wee day.
Did they do desperate Dan pies for pork? What?
As long as there's gravy.
As long as there's gravy for
You know me.
It was a jus.
He's the only guy, him and Big Steve are the only guys happy that there's a shortage of salads.
Port, it was a jus we had.
Aye,
This modern society, I don't think you can say that.
That's JUS.
Oh, right, okay. You mean a posh gravy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that a gravy without Bristol, Linda?
You can't beat a wee bit of Bristol, Ricky.
Right, here's a question for the two of you, right? Hawks or Bristol, Port Bear?
Oh, I like a wee bit of both.
I've heard that about you.
Oh.
Linda?
Vauxhall.
All day long. Right, okay. Right, we've got it out of our system. Anything else you want to add before we get these phone lines opened?
No, let's see what Pullers got to say, mate. I still think there's a lot of dissecting in the game. Look, and what I mean by that is, seeing the manner we went after them, you know, when we got that spell, when we got the goal.
Oh, they were all over the place, weren't they?
I mean, they were rattled, mate. They were rattled. I actually did think we were going to get the second. I'll be really, really honest with both of you. I did think we were going to get the second. You know, there was a point where...
I mean, they looked at way in the stadium. I mean, if you look back, report, you're right. Linda is right, because if you look back, our end for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes was jumping, and they were up until our goal up to about the 80, maybe second, third minute, their bottle went a bit, yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you know, we were just lacking that wee final sort of bit of quality just to maybe create a chance. But Ryan Jack had a good chance as well, didn't he, Ox? The one that,
he's got to hit it. He's got to hit it.
He's got to hit it. He did really well, but he's I think they got a block in on it. But again, it was a good opportunity. We didn't do an awful lot with our corners, Ox, didn't we not? And we had a couple of dangerous sort of free kick situations.
Here's another one for Linda and Port. Come in. That free kick we got when Tilton can't well get brought down. It's spawners all day long.
Spot on.
Left footers, that's it, mate. It was spawners ball all day long. Can I just make a wee thing is in Raskin or Oxtear? His first two passes, positive. Try to play behind. You know what I mean? First two passes in Canary Park, he's so forward thinking for a defensive minded midfielder as well. You know what I mean? He for me when he came on, and I'm going a bit by because I really like the young boy, but the first thing I noticed was he was up, took the ball, and his first ball was to try and get it in behind, Tavernier behind for that ball to square it, and that's what I thought right away. I thought, God, that's what we've missed the whole game. That boy's heed up and probably 2 steps ahead of some of the players in their team at times.
Aye. Listen, Linda, we need to get more players in the box. We need to score more goals. We need to have players that can shoot. Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, the shooting side of it, we've been saying it, as I said, for another thing we've been saying for season upon season. I mean, that's another thing. I know Alfredo's come in for a bit of criticism, and you know, he's not been playing as well, we know that, but he never had a lot of support, Ox. When you think about, you know, pushing up, we never got the people up to support him. You know, the midfield. You know, it's hard when you're the only player in the box as well at times with 4 of their players round about you. It's very, very tough, but it all comes down to the fact that we couldn't get players up to support him. But when we did bring those players on, we took him off. You know, he was no wonder he was frustrated.
I feel on Sunday. You know, we've had my criticisms of Alfie, rightly or wrongly, but I didn't have a problem with that part. What? Oh, we lost him. We lost him, Linda.
Is he on mute? No.
No. But I didn't. He's shown that emotion, no problem with that. I know people say, "Oh, you're disrespectful." Who wants to go off in a cup final?
No. After you've scored as well, Ox, you know, he's got his goal. He's fired up, and I tell you what, I think Bridge said that as well. That wasn't an easy take for him, that chance. You know, he tucked it away well. And again, as you said, he's walked off and he's very disappointed. It's a shame.
You know, you're right there, Potty boy.
Aye, mate, sorry about it. I thought you touched on it, mate. It gets you back in the game. You know, it goes off his seed, runs to his fans, looks right up for it. And as I say, during that spell where we were right on top, mate, you know, you wouldn't have put it past him if I like hit a second one, would you?
No, but it's gone now. It's gone.
Yep.
Time to move on, innit? You know, that's what it is. And Edmonds and House, Boy Sky Lounge, hopefully all these things are in place, more revenue, help us get better players, Linda, because that's what it's all about, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, they're all very much related. And we can't do any more as a fan base as well in terms of how much we're supporting the club. We just want to see a better product on the park, Ox, and you know.
Well, you could have had a pudding as well, Linda. You know what I mean? Pot, you could have done a bit and had the 3 courses instead of the 2.
Aye, and a wee doggy bag for taking home as well, a wee takeaway.
No. Pot's not that kind of place, mate. You know, it's a wee bit up market.
Oh,
that's
thank you.
We're not able to take you. Take Mrs. Port, but you can't come.
Right, that's right.
GB can take her.
Aye.
You know what he's like.
I'll write that out.
You know what he's like. Right, okay. We'll get these phone lines on. Let's hear from these.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Any successes Sunday? Anything positive?
Alan McGregor, just for the saves he had at the end as well, because he never had too much to do other than the 2 goals, picking the ball out the net, didn't he? No, Ox? It wasn't as if he was having to make save after save in the first half anyway, but he had a couple of cracking saves to keep the scoreline down.
Right to death, aye.
Yeah.
What?
Just for me, mate, just getting to see Raskin again. That was a bright spot for me. I still think that boy's got a lot in him. And what I've seen again, the minute he comes in, he sort of makes a wee difference in the midfield. Snapping into a few tackles. There was a wee sort of break of the ball where he's the last man and probably gets set half. He doesn't make the challenge, mate, but shows a lot of heart and bloater and gets the ball away. So, like I said, he's a guy that likes to get stuck in, mate, and he's got a bit of quality. So I'll give Raskin a wee positive point for the night. What about yourself, Ox, yeah?
Cantwell and him getting on the park, mate.
Yeah.
And I was also delighted that Scott Wright came on, you know.
Not a hairy
take a throw in. He doesn't know how to take a throw in.
Oh, jeez. You know, and then you get this to start. Now, remember, I don't think Scott Wright's been injured. You know, and I'll have a look and see how many games he's been involved in. Yeah. I'll tell you exactly. And you'll get my point, Linda.
Yeah.
How many games do you think he's been involved
So
in this year?
I think it's probably more than what you would maybe expect, Ox. You know, not a lot of starts, but he's probably been involved in, I don't know, maybe 25 games or something.
Let me tell you exactly, Linda, just for you. Where am I? Just got it right. This season, 27 games.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
8 starts, 19 substitutes appearances. Port Bear, how many goals?
and Offord, hee-haw.
How many goals, Linda?
None.
Therein lies the issue. Ryan
Many
Kent,
assists here,
yeah.
none.
You know, there's the issue. Port.
Aye, creativity. That's one big problem next year. And if you're, I don't think you do this. Get through 2 teams. I still don't think there's a lot between them, right? But in the final third, there lies their quality. They've got movement, they've got pace, and they've got players that can finish next year. They're not free to have a shot. They've got midfielders that can go beyond the strikers and go and get involved in the box. Whereas we've not. That's it. But it comes down to clinical finishing. You win games by scoring goals, mate. And they cut through twice, and it was a carbon copy of both goals. You know that is what Linda touched on. You know the inside right chart. That
You know
chance.
me, mate. I look at some crap, huh? You know that, mate. Yeah, not as bad as you, but I look at some crap. Huh? Yeah, but if you take Harlander out of the team and Roof out of the team, who were decent players for us, their influence at both ends of the pitch over the course of the last 2 seasons, mate. They took a lot of goals and a lot of blocks at the team.
Hello.
Anyway, we joined me Ian. Evening, Ian.
Good evening.
How you doing, mate? Nice to speak to you. All the way from Denmark, whereabouts?
A place called Silkeborg.
Right, okay. Nice part of the world,
Yeah.
mate, yeah?
It's all right. It's not bad. Not bad.
What's on your mind, mate? Get it off your chest.
Yeah, there's a few different things. What I wanted to talk about was, the first thing is Tavernier. I phoned in about 6 months ago after 5-6 games of the new season, complaining that he was poor. And I didn't get a very good reception from you guys. I'm just wondering what you think about that now, how his season is going. That's the first thing.
There's 2 James Taverniers, isn't there? There's James Tavernier, the stats, and there's James Tavernier, the performance. James Tavernier stats are out of this world. James Tavernier.
You're talking about scoring penalties.
Penalties, goals, and assists, mate. They're all there, aren't they? You know, he has scored nearly 50 goals to open play. Yeah, for a fullback. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I played football at an okay level. If I'm running in the box and hanging around the box, I'm going to get the odd goal here or there. But that's maybe not where you want your right back to be.
No, that he plays with instruction, mate. Look, if you talk about James Tavernier's performances, and you particularly talk about that spell before the World Cup or the Champions League period for us, he's been atrocious. I didn't think he was my worst player on Sunday, but I didn't think he was.
No, that's not the reason I'm calling. That was one of my points. He has scored a lot of goals, all of them been penalties. But I mean, your normal stats, you've got 75% chance of scoring a penalty, give or take whoever player it is, and I think he's round about there. So I mean, yeah, could we have another player taking the penalties, and they would be close to those stats anyway? Maybe. Defending, atrocious. Passing, where do I start? Honestly, if I put myself in the right back position, put a blindfold on, then I've got a 50% chance of hitting a Rangers player. And I mean, I would love to see the stats or hear the stats of his pass completion this season. I think it must be around 60%.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
I can't believe it's higher than that.
Remember, a lot of his passes are about 20-yard passes inside to the fullback, the centre half, mate. You know, that's the thing about stats. It's sometimes frightening that when you see them, you know, because remember, a lot of his passes will be maybe one roll back to the goalie. That's an accurate pass, but he's not done anything. You know, but
yeah.
I don't dislike James Tavernier, and he's done things that have been remarkable for us. They'll go down in history, and nearly was immortal, like we talked about last night. If we'd have won that cup, we'd have been remembered forever, and he will be remembered forever because he lifted 55. But this season, oh, the piece, stats are okay, performances. Linda?
Yeah, I would agree, and you know, Ian, I understand your reservations and your points about Tav, because he hasn't had a good season. As Ock said, he's not been the worst player, but he certainly he's just not had a good season. But as Ock said as well, you know, his goal involvements, his assists, and it is I think it's 95 goals he scored for the club, 50 of those penalties. Going forward, he's actually been better than the defensive side of his game, and I think, Ian, we were all hoping that he would change that. And unfortunately, it's not worked out like that, particularly this season. But stats don't always tell you the full picture. I get what you're saying there, Ian.
No, I thought Tav scored that great free kick last week against Livingston. It was a great free kick. And obviously scored the penalty as well. I thought he was one of our poorer players, Port there, but scored 2 goals.
That's exactly what's been happening for years. He's scored these penalties. He scored a free kick here and there. He's in the box when he shouldn't be, and he's getting the goal here and there. Barisic is crossing the ball in, and he's at the back post or at the near post or whatever. But defending, I mean, it's absolutely shocking. And passing the ball, like I said, blindfold him, and he's going to hit a Rangers player 50% of the time. And I don't even think sometimes when I watch them, I'm just counting, okay, Tavernier, boom, back to one of the opposition players. He does it time and time and time again. And I'm just wondering, when is someone going to have the balls to say, do you know what? You shouldn't be in the team. And I know I can see the stats and the penalties, but he just gives the ball away so many times, again and again and again and again. And he did it again on Sunday. He wasn't the worst. Yeah, I admit that. He was
still involved in a big moment in the game when he passed that ball to Kent, yeah. Yeah, it was still a big moment in the game. Port Bear, in you come.
Aye, look, you know, I think in regards to James Tavernier, his numbers will never be forgotten with Rangers. But he's a modern day fullback, and if you look at world football, you know, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Kieran Trippier, etc., they're all probably not great at defending, but it's what they do going forward. And I think Dani Alves at Barcelona was probably the first defender fullback that started this sort of trend where fullbacks almost became like wingers, and the guys that providing assists and goals at the back post, etc. And I think that's the way modern football's went, mate. Maybe you're a bit more old school and you want your defender to be a right back, like we had, you know, guys like Gary Stevens and your Davy Robertsons of these worlds, you know, that just, they got forward, they were tough at tackling, they got back, they worked like, you know, absolute horses. Assists and goals probably one of their, you know, best asset, but they could defend. So I think, as I said, as the player James Tavernier, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's never going to be forgotten. Captain 55. But I have to agree, mate, it's not been his best season. But if you ask 10 Rangers fans right now, who would you have at right back? I still reckon maybe 70, 80% of them would still say Tav, because it's all we've got. Having Aaron Devine, but it's like you say, when's the right time to oust the captain to let
Ian.
Adam Devine, a youngster, go in?
Well said, Paul. Ian, I think Michael Beale's got a lot of decisions to make, and I was talking to my good friend Southside, and they're talking about some of the players, and he intimated in his opinion, and they're always right, especially the Super Six on a Saturday, but that's another story, right? That obviously Tav and Golson have got these contracts, and we know that they've got less time in front of them in their careers than they've got behind them. You know, so they're coming to the end of their careers. No, and so Beale's got decisions to make, and
that's what I was saying. Who's going to have the balls to drop him? Because
he's going to have to make big decisions, mate. Because if he doesn't, if he keeps on to the tried and tested, who ultimately aren't there consistently to get us to the next level.
Like everybody's watching the game. Sometimes they can't even pass the ball 5 yards to another Rangers player. And for me, penalties aside, I can score a penalty. Yeah, so can another player. All right. As I said, you get a 75% chance of scoring a penalty. For me, that's unacceptable for a professional footballer to have so many passes, game after game after game after game, that goes to another player. You're just giving the ball away. And for me, that's unacceptable.
He's not a great season. I'll be honest with you. In my opinion, there was a period.
Yeah, but he never had a great season last season either. He got the penalties and the odd goal in the Europa League. Yeah, granted. What was he doing in the box? Like 2 yards from goal when he was a right back. That's a different story.
He's playing the instructions. He's playing the instructions. That's the instruction for the manager.
Yeah. Hopefully the instructions are as well. When you've got the ball, you pass it to another Rangers player, and he can't do that much. That's a fact. I would love to see the stats.
I'm trying to get them, mate. Linda, I think the thing about passing with defenders, there is a lot of passes you make that are simple passes and don't hurt the opposition, yeah?
Yeah, it would probably need to be a stat on, forward passes that lead to a goal chance or something like that, Ox, or it might not be the assist, but it could be the pass before the assist, etc. I totally understand, because the amount of sideways passes we play as a team must be one of the highest, in terms of Rangers teams of the past as well. We play a lot of sideways passes and it drives us mad at times, but yeah, you would need to get one's forward passes, Ox, that, as I say, perhaps lead to a chance.
Yeah. We're looking to see if we can get it for you. You had other points you wanted to make, Ian?
Yeah, I've used all the time, yeah. It was basically the midfielders on Sunday. It's been done to death, I'm sure.
Yeah, your opinion, mate.
Yeah, but I'm going to give you another opinion that's not been put out there or heard. I think maybe Michael Beale was trying to protect the new signings, Raskin, for a start, because I wondered if he had just thrown him in there. If, for example, he wouldn't have lasted the whole game. Could he have got a couple of yellow cards with tackles because the game was a wee bit wild and it was too fast for him and he wasn't fit? I just wonder if he was actually protecting some players, some of the new signings with that lineup, instead of thinking, like, I'm going to put a lineup out here that can win the game. I obviously wanted to win the game. I think just something's maybe in his head. He protects the players a lot. And I wonder if he was just protecting Raskin, because if he started Raskin and he got a couple of yellows or a red card or played bad, that would have been, you know what us Rangers fans are like.
Yeah,
that's him sin-died. I wonder if he was just protecting him.
Well, I'll go to Port, who played in that position, similar position, Port.
I would like to think no. I think the boy Raskins played in enough games in Belgium, even for under 21s for Belgium, that he's experienced enough to step into that match. I don't understand what you would get out of protecting him. And the same with Catmull, he's played in the Premier League at top level.
If it went wrong, that's what I'm saying. If it went wrong for them,
I know that.
If he thought Raskin and Cantwell weren't like fit, 100% fit and ready for the game, is he maybe thinking at the back of his head, if this goes wrong for those two new boys, that could ruin them for a short time at least. I wonder if he was just trying to think, okay, I can bring them on and they can do their best at that point, but can they? I mean, was Raskin and Cantwell going the last 90 minutes? No, they weren't. Were they going to make mistakes? And yeah, I'm just thinking, just playing like a little bit of devil's advocate, and just thinking, I wonder if that was in his mind, just to try and protect those players and also the players that he played. Granted, they did play well at New Year, and they did play well against Hearts, the midfielders. I was just thinking, why should they be dropped, and why should he risk the other ones? And I just think it was a little bit, there's something else in behind that, rather than just thinking that he thought like Lundstrom and Kamara were the best midfielders to play that game. If you played yourself, you had just heard that you'd played in midfield. If you had played in that game at New Year and you played a game against Hearts and you were dropped today, what would you, or dropped on Sunday, what would you think about that?
I'd be furious, especially for what I've saw Raskin. I'd be absolutely furious, mate. Of course, that's 100%. I'd be furious because you've got John Lundstrom, who it's well documented he's injured. Malik Tillman just made the match, as we're led to believe as well. So for me, again, like I spoke about earlier on, risk reward. I say Raskin goes on there and doesn't the best of games, and the heat ends up on the young guy. I get where you're coming from, but to put on that Rangers jersey, and that's the pressure that comes with playing with that jersey on you, and the same goes with Cantwell. No matter what game it is, there's a pressure playing for their club, and it's that shirt's proved heavy for many a player. Better players, let's just say, at Ibrox. So I'm not one for protecting or
Can I come
them in there.
Can I come across here? Somebody sent me Tav stats, mate. I'll just go through them again. Right, where are we? Appearances. This is league appearances. We'll just go over the league here. 26, 2,316 minutes, 5 assists, key passes 28, averaging 2.2, average pass completion. Where's the average pass completion? Pass completion 82.5%.
82.5% for a defender. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's given the ball away 1 out of 5 times from right back position. Yeah.
We're a piece, mate. If you would accept that from all your players, mate, that's that. That means you're doing things right 4 out of 5 times.
Yeah, but 4 out of 5 times that might be a sideways pass.
Yeah, but it depends what happens. Depends what happens when that one you get away. Nothing happens. It doesn't matter if you get it, and they score it. It's stats. You can make stats mean anything, Linda.
Yeah, absolutely, Ops. The thing about James Tavernier is he does sort of split the support to a certain degree. A lot of people just think that he should be in because of what he brings in an attacking sense, and I totally respect Ian's opinion. The difficulty for us, as you said, Ox, we've got decisions to make going forward, and it's who do you replace Tav with, and I'm afraid it is going to come down to finances and what available budget. I might be totally wrong, but I don't think that's a position that Michael Beale will see as a priority to basically change. As I said, I might be wrong. He might have had a much more thorough look at players. But generally, you might find that they think that there's other positions that are more urgent to actually find new players or better players, Ox.
Talking about positions, we've got a positions expert on. Evening, David.
Good evening, everybody. Great to be on the show again. Just a pity it's in the way it's turned out to be, but that's the way it was, and we'll be going to march on. I agree with the chap for Denmark with a lot of things, but regarding that individual performances, you could go around that whole team and point out what they're not good at and what they're good at. You could say stats don't matter if you're not winning, and that's see that we make.
You alright, yeah?
Aye, I'm fine.
You can make stats mean anything, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, but what we're saying is, I would just like to bring sort of Port into here. He made a comment earlier, and I'd like I'm not having a go at you, son, with this, but you said that Beale was only 60% to blame for that result. Well, this is my opinion. He was 150% to blame for that. Because see, when I seen that lineup, it's like putting the telly on, and this old movie keeps coming on.
You got the telly on, David.
Aye.
We're going to turn it off because we don't want to hear it.
I've not got my telly on.
Somebody's got their telly on.
It's somebody, it's not me again. I've learned my lesson. I paid 15 yellow cards for that.
You're cheering. You're cheering.
But what I'm saying is, you watch
David, Ian, have you got your telly on?
No.
Oh, no, you're okay.
No, I'm sitting here waiting.
All right. Carry on, David. Carry on with your rant.
Right. Oh, I'm just trying to point out where we're heading here. It's like putting the television on and you see a movie, it's been on 15 times, you switch the telly, you go, oh, no, that again. Well, that's what it was like on Sunday.
That's
when
not when he watches the same movie over and over again.
But the whole problem is that we're trying to shake the tree. We shook it. I'll go back to what I was going to ask Port. He made a wee call. I made a point that Bill was only responsible for 60%. That whole team was a disaster coming out. And why? We've heard everybody speaking about it. Why they didn't change it? A coach of an under-15 team would have changed that team after half an hour. But that's another story. The point I'm trying to say is we shook a tree, and this everybody's been
Can I
talking
just
about
add a wee point? Something I was talking about earlier.
About
Beale protecting the players and trying to get on the players' side. If he did, everybody could see it. Everybody knew from the start that Lundstrom and Kamara wasn't going to work. We've seen that time and time again. That's a film we've seen over and over again. But again, if you had pulled Lundstrom off or Kamara off after 30 minutes or even at half time, ask your man again who's played in midfield, you're getting pulled off at half time. How do you feel? What are you thinking about there? And are you willing to put in 100%, 110% the next game for that manager?
There's always two sides to that coin. Port Bear, come in, you come, mate.
Aye, I'll answer Davy's question first, Doc, see if that's all right.
Yeah,
in regards to
you always answer Davy's question first.
Thank you. I love you, Linda. I love you.
Hi, Davy.
No, Port, it's simple because you don't know how long he's got. Carry on.
I just think, 60%, Davy. Players have got a responsibility when they cross that white line, mate, to get there and give 110%. So that's why I say you can blame the manager for his selection, which I did say he got wrong. There's no doubt about it, he got his selection wrong. But any player, I don't care what level you're playing at, has got a responsibility when they cross that white line to go and give everything 110% what you can for that badge. And I question that. I don't believe that happened. and I believe it's for various reasons, fitness, etc. Maybe some people don't want to be there, etc. And then to Ian's question, Ian, it's a toss of a coin. Sometimes if you're not playing up to form, or Michael Beale knew John Lundstram was injured. So what, like you say, why did they not say it half an hour into the game? This is not working. Big man's not got enough movement. But the Celtic defending midfielders are running by him. Why do they not change it? That's to Michael Beale. Would have been raging getting hooked? Maybe raging at the time, but maybe when you look at the match the next day with a clear head and you're analysing it together as a team, so you realise you're not dodging questions to see by you.
Maybe we are winners' medal, Port Bear.
Aye, indeed, yep.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, Glenda.
Yeah, and that shouldn't really come into it. I understand that, where Ian's coming from. We've got a trophy to win. If you've got to make changes at half time, see players' feelings and that, deal with that later on. You've got to make decisions that's going to ultimately win you the game.
Exactly, aye. I'm wondering if Beale is looking too much after his players, trying to keep them on side. I wondered about that team selection, if that was a team selection for the guys who put in the effort at the New Year game and the Hearts game and done well, that they should get that reward. Why should they get dropped? And I wonder if that's why he didn't change at half time, because I don't know. If I'm Lundstram and I'm getting hooked at half time, I'm raging.
But the other thing I know,
even though I've maybe played shite, I'm still raging. He's put me on the park and he's pulling me at half time. I'm raging.
But the other thing I know is, if you accept we played well against Hearts and them at Ibrox once we get into the game, we changed our shape under.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we spoke about that earlier. I still scratching my head as to why he thought it was all right to do that, particularly with the players that he had available to him. Somebody who's been carrying an injury, switching him over to the right-hand side when he's most effective through the middle, playing behind the forward player. That was a big call that just didn't work at all. And you actually feel a wee bit sorry for Tillman in that regard as well, Ox, because, when Gio was there, I don't think Gio played him in the right place, but it looked as if Beale was getting the best out of him. But as you say, it's hindsight. But that was definitely a mistake, Ox, the shape of that. It was, I think it was a major surprise to us as well, wasn't it?
Oh, definitely. Right, if it's okay.
I think it was more the lack of effort that they put in. I mean, Kamara and Lundstram, there was at one point, I'm not really sure, I think it was around 30 minutes or something, where there was a ball, it just kind of bounced around the midfield, and you could see the two of them were biting and chasing. And I'm jumping about shouting at TV, like, that's it, that's what we want to see. But, I mean, that was pretty much the only time they put in, like, extra effort. Otherwise, I mean, Kamara, he just strolls around like it's a training game.
I'm a fan of
Lundstram is not much better either.
When he plays, but the game passed him by. It was atrocious on Sunday. Anyway, we've reached that time of the evening. We're going to have a tune. Get yourself in mute, put it on your phones, and we'll have a tune.
Ever since I recall, I have followed football, and ingrained in my heart are the Rangers FC. Through good and the bad times, of happy or sad, it will always be Rangers for me. For when I was lost, I was led by the hand down the Paisley Road West. I will never forget that beautiful sight of the red, blue and white. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. And I vowed to my dad, if I would have a lad, I would show him the way, as he did on that day. And so here I stand with young Lyle by the hand, after walking down Paisley Road West. For when I was a lass, I was led by the hand down the Paisley Road West. I will never forget that beautiful sight of the red, blue, and white. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. There's a great sense of pride that I feel deep inside as I'm watching the Jazz with my father and son. And it's sure safe to say, at the end of the game, win or lose, we will all follow on. For when I was a lass, I was led by the hand down the Paisley Road West. I will never forget that beautiful sight of the red, blue, and white. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life. From that day I'd be Rangers for life.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, thanks for that. I hope you enjoyed that, Linda.
Oh, that's a lovely tune. One of my favourites.
Ah,
Brilliant. I was in the toilet.
I thought you were talking about old Davy there. One of your favourites.
Davy too.
Right, okay, we'll get some more callers coming in. Give your last point, mate, before we let you go.
Yeah. Some of the weird decisions. One of the last weird decisions, or two of the last weird decisions, I think, to take Alfie off. Although, I mean, I'm not his biggest fan anymore. I just feel he spends a lot of time standing there, waiting on the ball with his hand on his hips. But anyway, I thought that was a weird decision. But I was just wondering what you thought about maybe that Arfield was sitting on the bench and he didn't come on and score a couple of goals in the last 10 minutes.
30 seconds,
and they brought Wright on instead.
Wright's prolific, mate, and also if you do win the cup, you want Scott Wright getting up because the photograph's superb, you know. I couldn't believe Wright come on, and I also couldn't believe he took Alfie off. Well, I didn't think Alfie was fantastic, but he was arguably on Sunday the best of our front three. Port Bear.
He's the one that brings the most threat out of front, out of our strikers available, mate. You know, Sakala's are off game. Cholak's obviously not fit. You know, if anything, as I said earlier on, you'd have took somebody else off and thrown Cholak up well at the time, especially when Alfie's just scored his tails
exactly,
up. So I get his frustration. You know, he's been lashing out, just kicked off. He just got Rangers back into the game. His tails up. He'd have been buzzing. Throw Cholak alongside him, mate, and see what happens. You know, let Alfie go and battle for everything and make 40 Cholak, and we know Cholak's prolific. So that would been the change I'd have made, Ian.
Yeah, we agree with Ian. It was a strange decision, mate. Listen, Ian, great to hear from you, mate.
If I can just put in a wee sneaky last comment, just a question.
Yeah.
When I watch Rangers, right, and when I watch Rangers playing against other teams, they seem to put in 110, 120%. when I see Rangers players walking off the pitch, they look like they could play another game. When was the last time a Rangers player went down with cramp or had to be subbed because he was totally knackered? I see a total lack of effort in these players, and this has been going on for years. When was the last time a Rangers player went down with cramp? I'm done. I've run myself into the ground, or been subbed because he's done. He's knackered. When was the last time that happened?
Oh, I'm trying to think now. I'm trying to think. Cramp. I'm trying to think. Was there somebody went down with cramp? Was it Balogun in the semi-final? Would that be right?
But you see it almost every time we play another team. But just for example, we play Dundee United, and there'll be a player after 70 minutes. He's lying on the ground down with cramp because he's just ran himself into the ground playing against Rangers. But we never ever see that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'd be complaining if our players been doing with cramp after 70 minutes, Linda.
I can see where you're coming from, Ian. The only thing I would say is, we've got to give them a bit of credit sometimes, and the amount of effort and energy and commitment they put into the Europa League run last year when they got through all the extra time games. And I know it's Europe, Ian, and ultimately it didn't end in a trophy. I wish sometimes that they would put the same amount of effort and commitment into the domestic games.
Good to hear from you, Ian.
Yeah. Thanks for the airtime.
No problem.
Nice to talk to you all.
On the way from Denmark, yes.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
Cheers, Ian.
Have a nice evening.
Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Davey, the floor's all yours. You can have Linda all yourself.
I would, if you could just answer this. What was the problem with Ruth? Has he picked up another injury again?
Has he not played these quarter games for this season?
I know, but I mean, I didn't get that one at all. I never really heard anything on the social media or even on the news that he'd get nobbled again, but I just find it.
Another knock, yeah.
Yeah. Well, a wee point I'd like to make, I know, we're all going on about this Hearts game, and I was one of them. Yes, it was a good result, terrific result, but I brought a point up after that game, and I said, well, guys, I wouldn't get carried away with that because I thought Hearts were rotten. And I said at the time, if you want to ask me where we're heading, ask me after we play Celtic and play like that.
Good point.
And everybody shot me down. And I says, it's great to see that, but you can't accept that and then mention it in context after we get beat with that lot. Said, but that was a good team we played against Hearts. We've done this against Ross County. You're talking about a different setup altogether. And that's in the past.
But two things, Davey. Then they shoot you down. They wanted to shoot you. That's different. And also the fact is we can only critique that particular game yet at a time. But your comments fair. You critique individual performances, but a league or a season is judged as a collective. But when we're talking about after individual games, we're critiquing the game, Port Bear.
You can only critique, mate, what you see on the particular day, and we've been that inconsistent. Everybody that's phoned in the show or the panel that's been on the show have critiqued, I think, pretty fairly. We've shot them down when they deserve to be shot down, and we've praised them when they've been praised. I just think, going forward, mate, and the bounce back ability, I'm ready to put this game to bed. And as the dust all settles, for me, mate, it's all about bouncing back in the next 8 games before the split.
Yeah, you're dead right.
The next 8 games before the split, mate, for me are vital. Are really vital.
Right,
And
for
obviously you
Michael
get a
Doe,
Scottish Cup.
right,
Aye,
for Michael
yep,
Doe. Anyway,
definitely.
we've been joined by John. Yeah, evening, John.
Evening, Ox. Evening, Linda. Evening, GB. Evening, Southside. If I missed any, I apologise.
Evening, John.
I'd like to take a wee separate turn away from just battering Rangers. We weren't at the races, we all know that. Let's look at the Celtic point of view. If I'm a midfielder in the Celtic team and I see the Rangers line up, I'm thinking to myself, right, who am I up against? Like, who's within my 10-yard circle? Who do I need to take on? And when I see that Rangers line up, I'm going, oh, Christmas came early. That's a bunch of guys that just literally came back into the squad after injury. Raskin's not playing? Yes. It was literally Christmas come early for that Celtic side, because they're looking at that team and they're thinking, who's in there that's going to distribute the ball, who's going to beat me to the ball, who's going to put a hard tackle in on me. Maybe. We've all talked about Lundstrom. He shouldn't have been in the side, period. At his best, he's not the greatest player in the world. You know, we can all think back to the greats of Rangers. That's not where we are now. All we need is players that are in the side that are going to put a shift in. We don't need unfit players. And what's it saying to the young boys in that team? The guys that are literally, and this is what Celtic are doing right, there's an avenue for the young Celtic players to get a chance. They might not always make it, but they've got a chance to get into that side. It looks like Rangers just don't have that. It's bye. Then what's the point of having an academy? I thought when Beale came in, that was going to change. Stevie Gerrard talked a big game about having an avenue to the first team.
They started 11 players on Saturday, John. 10 of them were bought in the last year, I think.
Again, but they were bought for. Let's look at their manager. If I manage Postecoglou, I don't think he walked into that dressing room after the game and gave everybody a pat in the back. I think he tore the arse off them, because they should have absolutely smashed us. They won the game, fair do. But once again, 41-year-old, absolutely crippled Alan McGregor saved us for an absolute showing up.
At the death, let's be honest, up to 5 minutes to go, he hardly had a safety, mate. Yeah.
Again, that's when everybody's legs are tired.
Yeah, no, we're shape had gone and we were up the park. Linda?
Yeah, well, I would agree there. John, he did save us from the scoreline being more an embarrassment, to be honest with you. That would have been even worse, horrendous. But up to then, he wasn't making save after save, you know, and you can argue that, you know, we didn't do enough to impose our game and do enough to actually win the game, but our goalie didn't have a really, really busy game. In the first 30-35 minutes, there wasn't a lot in it at all, but what started to happen was that we ran out of legs and we basically couldn't keep up with them. They just overran us eventually. So McGregor did save us. But generally, your point, John, about them in terms of the midfield, I don't think any of us are disagreeing with the fact that it was just the wrong team that he picked there in the middle of the park.
The wrong team with the wrong shape, Linda.
Yeah.
Correct. But again, guys, if we're forgetting about that game, right, results happen. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And you have to kind of look at it and say, well, why did we lose? I'm looking now for here to the end of the season. The only person that I've heard is Fashion Sakala, who said, it's not done till it's done. You know what I mean? Until it's mathematically impossible, we'll still keep going. He's the only person that said that. Even the managers not said that. Everybody's geared up. They understand that 9 points is probably not something that is in our wheelhouse to overturn. But that's not because Rangers are good, that's because Celtic are better.
Sorry, but the person you've called isn't available at the moment.
Carry on, John.
How you doing?
Carry on.
Aye, there's a crack up. Again, Ange Postecoglou's got a kind of easy job here. He's got an easier job than Michael Beale's got, because all he has to do is say to the team, right, you've got one goal. They're probably going to win the league. Right, let's all face that. They're going to win the league, so that is gone. We had the chance to give them a kick in the arse and take the cup after them. We've failed to do that. There's one cup that's going to come, and my scary point is it's the quarter-finals. It's not the semis. The way Rangers are looking now, who's to say that we don't get kicked out in the quarters? I don't think there's any team in this that fear us. We are not feared.
I'm sure Wraith Rovers will gaze again, but we have to start scoring goals, Port Bear. I don't think we became a team that if we'd have won 2-1 in that performance on Saturday, that things haven't changed that much since 3 o'clock on Saturday. We've lost a game of football 2-1.
I think it starts way before that, Ox.
No, mate.
I don't think the entire season.
When you come, Port.
No, I hate I hate harping back to this Ox year. Michael Beale's, it's his first loss. I'll be stinging him just as much as we're all feeling hotter than here tonight. I'll be stinging him. His first loss manager of Rangers against our biggest rivals in a cup final. Like John just touched on, a cup that they retained, and we want to take that back to Ibrox. It's been a long while since we've had that cup back at Ibrox. But like I says, mate, it's the next 8 games for me. It's up to the split. Where that'd be my next section next year. That'd be my next sections where I'd be shown and I'd be thrown down the gauntlet to that squad to fin out at the end of the season. But over these next 8 games, I want to see enough from you guys, blood, sweat, tears, to prove that you either want to stay here and be part of our plans, or show them the door. I'm going to be pretty ruthless, Ox. I'm taking over for now with the split. That's the next section of games where I'd be throwing the gauntlet down to that squad.
Even if somebody had a great season, to now to the end of the season, mate, we've got to think long and hard, because we've got to refresh. We've got to get
too little, too late
for wages, mate. It's wages. Here's a start for you, Davey. Yeah,
I'm listening. Yeah, I'm listening.
You're listening. Right,
Yes.
it's today with people who hate wackos, right? Right, no, listen. Here's one of them. The midfield.
Don't encourage them, Linda. Don't encourage them.
Sorry, Davey.
Yeah, I love you, sweetheart. Carry on, big boy. Carry on.
Please don't call me sweetheart, Davey. Right,
I've got to do
big boy,
something to cheer myself up, innit?
I can live with that. I can live with that, John. Right,
Right, fire away.
Midfields that started, the 3 midfielders that started, right? Those 3 that started have scored 13 goals, and their 3 that started have scored 11 goals. So it's over the season so far. It just shows you can make stats mean anything, doesn't it?
Correct. You're spot on. Spot on.
Yep.
The biggest problem we've got in here is that I know the Port's coming a bit winning this game, winning that game. Is we've got to get that squad sorted. What have we retain the Scottish Cup, that will be outstanding. But we've gave ourselves a mountain to climb here. And that mountain's no easy to get up. And so we've just got to lift ourselves, march on, but he's got to get the right team on the park. I was in for a coffee in Greg's the day after the game, and the wee lassie came out. I usually have a bit of crack with her about Rangers and Celtic. She's not, me, Donna, she came out, she says, I said, well done, Donna, your team. We're the best team. She says, why did you not play your 2 best players? That's a lassie at what's in Greg's. You know what I mean? Come on. And you're asking us who was rotten.
Saturday at 3 o'clock.
Again, that's something I would address a lot. I've been watching the show and listening to everybody putting in their 5 pence. Do we honestly think that starting Cantwell and Raskin would have really made a difference?
It's funny.
I think we would have had more energy. I don't think it would have changed the result, to be honest.
I mean,
I think that team were done. You know what I mean?
Cantwell could have run through in the first 10 minutes.
The back line is all that saved us. The back line is the only thing that saved us for an absolute redneck. The front three. Look at your front three, right? You've got speed merchant, petulant guy, and step over guy. Who's going to score goals out of three then? Fascicala is not known for these goals. Ryan Kent's not known for these goals. And Alfie has been after buzz for, 3 years? I remember Alfie, but this is the thing. Everybody remembers Alfie when he was absolutely banging them in. He's not done that for about 3 years. Now, he scored an absolute sniper goal the other day, but he's no in the 15, 20, 25 goals a season. This guy's unplayable. He's not doing that. Kovac, why are we not playing him? Why are we not even playing the young guys? If it's not working the way it is, change it. It's that simple. If you're not doing the job, get the fuck out the road and let somebody, excuse my language, get out the road and let somebody else in.
John, I'm going to have to let you go, mate. We warned you a couple of times last night. Good to speak to you, mate. Yeah, you need to watch your language. Cheers, mate. Right, I get his frustration. Morelos and my forward line only scored enough goals, yeah. Particularly that's aimed at Ryan Kent. Port Bear.
It's been a problem for a wee while now, Oxtear, with forward line. If you think about probably a wee purple patch when Cholak gets 14, but Gio had to change the system of the team and basically make the team work around Cholak. And I think that's the only reason still to this day, even though we've got an unfit Alfie, who's not in the best shape, Cholak can't play the forward line the way Michael Beale wishes him to do so. That's my opinion on that, mate. I said this weeks ago, I don't think Cholak can play the same role as what Alfie can, holding the ball, bringing people into play. Marshalling a back four on his own, albeit being maybe 70% fit. I think to get Cholak horseshoed into the team, mate, again, I think we need to change our full shape to benefit service to Cholak. But one of the biggest problems we've got, Oxtear, is service. Service from midfield, service for our wide men. We're attacking men like your Tillman and Cantwell, Kent, Sakala, Wright. They don't get enough service to our strikers, Oxtear. We don't create enough chances in a game. And when we do, we've got Rufus injured, who's probably one of our best finishers. Cholak's probably our best finisher. And then Alfie, he takes the most difficult chances but misses the easy ones. But it's how you can horseshoe or shape the team, Oxtear, into a manner where it suits one of that front line and have some attacking prowess behind them as well that's going to create. And I think with Raskin looks to me like that sort of box-to-box type player that will get back and defend, but will also be on the edge of their box, try to make nice wee cute passes, like the pass he made for the header at Cholak's in the last game when they played and get a wee assist there. I think he's a more forward advanced thinking player, but I think he's more box-to-box. And as a young man develops at Rangers, that's the sort of legs we need, mate. But it's only Michael Beale's first transfer window next year. We are where we are because we've got an aging squad. Our managers get one transfer window. We just need to be patient. I think I'm trying to be as positive I can, mate. And this team's took us to some special places.
This team's coming to an end. I mean, let's be honest. If Lawrence would have been playing and Ridvan's playing, and when you throw in Ben Davis was playing, and then if Cholak would have been playing the fit Cholak London instead of Alfie, the team's changing, but
yeah,
you have to play what you've got at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we're talking about it. I think we've signed in total 9 players this season, including that's for the summer and the January window. Only one of them started the game, Ox. Only one of them's been able to have a bit of a sustained run. recently, and that's Ben Davies, and even he was missing for quite a period of the season. So we would have seen a bit more of the team evolving a wee bit more this year, Ox, if some of these signings had been able to get fit or stay fit. And I'm not making excuses, but the injury situation has contributed to the way things have gone this season. So we ended up going back to the players that we've been relying on for the past few seasons. I think we were saying earlier, 7 of the players that started on Sunday also started the 2019 final, whereas with Celtic it was only 1 player, Ox. So we've not been able to evolve the team probably as much as Gio would have liked, and also Michael's come in and he's had to work with what was there in front of him. So he has got some big decisions. But going back to what Bort was saying about the games going forward, Docs, a lot of these players are now fighting for they're playing for their future. Whether they want to be there or not is a different matter. But it all goes down to players out of contract, players that are still in their contract, but you would maybe like to get rid of them. It's not as easy. And it's also what budget's going to be available to them. But I
just hope that some of the players, Ryan Jack, Morelos, Kent, they don't ruin their legacy. People have different things about them, but at times they've all been excellent for us, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, and I hope they leave. I hope they leave through the front door, not the back door port, yeah?
Totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I mean, one thing I'd never, ever like to leave a club with a tarnished legacy. Because like I says, some of these players have gave us some special moments. You know, Ryan Kent, Morelos, etc. And we want to remember them for that. Yeah, I'm a bit under on. Maybe it's time for these guys to go and time for new heroes. Maybe it is, mate. Maybe it is. Use the wages wisely elsewhere. Sometimes you can beat a club too long, Oxia.
Yeah.
And that includes the captain and all. That includes the captain. I know.
Everybody's got a shelf life. Everybody's got a shelf life. Even old Davey. Davey, are you a heroes man? Celebrations or which?
Well, Emma's got chocolate on
Yeah.
You know, I'm quite partial to
email. What's the biscuit of choice this week, Davey? What's the biscuit of choice this week?
What's
the biscuit of choice this week?
Oh, I don't know. I've been off my grub since Saturday.
I bet you were still eating your biscuits.
The thing is, guys, we're debating this and we're debating it. We're all Rangers men, and we always will be. I've been a Rangers man. I'm 74-year-old. I've been that since day one. And it'll not change. We know there's good and there's bad days, but the excuses we're trying to make for Saturday, it's just, you've got to get on with that and leave it. We could go on about who should have played and who shouldn't have played. The biggest thing I think we've been all talking, and a lot of the listeners, will be how were the two boys not playing. That will always be, hindsight doesn't even come into it. One of them should have been on the park. But that's what I had.
I'll say it again, Port Blair. I think Bill's got himself a conundrum. I don't think he wants Tillman and Cantwell on the park at the same time.
Yep.
Well, the manager put himself out there, if you think about it, in January, when they sort of put that pressure on the board, you know, about going out and signing players. What was it he said? They're not going to be squad fillers, they're going to be first team players. So I get where Davey's coming from, and I get where all the frustrations of my fans are coming from, and all the guys that phone in the show and all the listeners out there. He said they were signed for the starting 11. So where have they been?
Anyway, we've been trying to Ian for YouTube. Evening, Ian.
Evening, everybody.
How we doing, mate? Good to see you.
Hi, Ian.
Hiya. I know everybody's been over it, but that was dire on Sunday. And Michael Beale said he was bringing in players in January, hit the ground running to play right away. And that's where my biggest problem is with the midfield. I know everybody's talked about it, but he brought them in to play and then one of the biggest games of the season, he leaves them out and plays somebody that's injured. Do you know what I mean? And let's face it, the game wasn't that great and they weren't that good. We were just rubbish.
It was their classic, Ian, you're right.
Aye, I mean, it wasn't a classic game, and it was just back and forth, and it was like, I don't know. We made them look good because we were that terrible, to be quite honest with you. And I do agree,
Big moments, mate. You've got to... Sakala's got to score after Kent hits the post. He's got to score.
No, I understand that. I mean, I watched it. I mean, he's got to score. And one thing about Kent I'm getting fed up with, it's a step over. Then when he shoots, it goes red or it hits a defender. Why not just do one step over or no step over, just cross the ball? Do you know what I mean? He's wasted all these balls. And I think when Alfie took off his stick, it kept on when Cholak come on and played the two up the front and gave them a wee bit of run about. Because, I mean, there wasn't long to go anyway. But there's people saying there's people not playing for Rangers now because they're wanting a way out. Well, they're playing rubbish, so where are they going to go? What team's going to buy them?
If I was Morelos and Kent's agents, I would have told them to sign the deals at Ibrox.
Exactly, because nobody's going to buy them. They're going to look at their matches and go, well, he's pathetic. Kamara, Alfie. Kamara's not been playing that great for a long time, and people say it's because he wants to get out the English Premier League. But no, he could have got a game in the Junior League the way he's playing now. You know what I mean? Nobody's going to buy any of them. So they're going to be stuck here, whether we like it or no.
Well, both their contracts are up, and I think Kamara's got another 2 years to go, mate.
Aye, that's the worry, to be quite honest with you. But I can't say any more because everybody's covered the whole thing, you know what I mean? Everybody's covered the whole thing. As I said to the guy on the phone, I just wanted to come on and get it off my chest. I'm still raging.
Oh, we recognise we're a self-help group, Wonder.
Aye.
Yeah, Ian, I think we all needed a self-help group after Sunday, and I think it's just because it means so much to us, Ian, doesn't it? We just want our team to win, and we want them to win trophies, Ian. I mean, when you think about, we've only really, we've got 2 trophies to show for a recent time, when you think about even back to when Steven Gerrard took over and we thought that's going to be the start of the real rebuild, and we've not really kicked on even since we won our 55th title, Ian, haven't we not? We thought we were going to kick on from them. So it has been a disappointment, Ian. I totally agree with you.
I think it's actually got worse. I mean, you take the Hearts game. You pick out another game that Rangers have played great this season. There's none. Absolutely none. They've been pathetic, either in the first half or the second half. They've scraped through games. Hearts game was a big, massive, great game, and you thought, right, this is us pushing for it. And then we go to St Johnstone, it was dire rubbish again. Do you know what I mean? I don't get the mentality players considering the amount of money they get paid these days. I wish I could get paid 20-odd thousand just for sitting on my backside on the bench. Do you know what I mean? Not even sitting in the stand watching it with my nice suit on. I don't know.
Can I come in, Ox, a minute?
Yes, of course you can, Davey.
Right. Aye, well, I'll just cut off the new and let some of the guys get in. I know I was talking to Thingley and he said it's very busy. So I'll let you get away for the night, guys. And always remember, but see, just before I go, I'll just tell you my new biscuit. It's called Bliss, BLISS. It's an indulgent layers of salted caramel and peanut with 99 calories. Okay, and I'm just going to have that with a cup of tea now, and everything's still to play for, boys. No surrender. Good night, everybody.
Right. Davey.
It's pretty posh, isn't it?
It doesn't sound like a classic, if I'm being honest, Linda.
No, it doesn't.
I'm going to go as well. Can I just say a quick hi to a few folk first?
Of course you can, Ian. You're always welcome.
Can I say big hi to the people doing that? We were there chatting to Nicola, Cootie Can, Caroline, Aldo, Pacer, and anybody I've left out, I apologise. But thanks for letting me on to vent my wee bit of frustration, people, because, as I say, I'm still raging. I think we're all the same, but once again, it's great listening to these tonight, so thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You know you're always welcome on here, Ian, yeah?
Right, thanks a lot, and have a good night, and take care, everybody. Night.
What a nice guy. Knowing that Davey at Wretch, Port Bear.
Aye, that was bliss to have him on, mate, wasn't it?
Bliss,
eh?
Bliss. Is that the name of a biscuit? Let me check that out. Where do you get that one?
I think they come in a wee box pack of 4 rocks. I think he's right, salted caramel. I think I've seen them.
What would that be, Waitrose?
Oh, no, the pound shop.
Oh, no.
You didn't shop in high places.
Oh, dear. Davey. Right, okay.
He's very pleased, that's handy to know. He's easily pleased.
I know, good on him. He always gives us a wee bit of something. I thought penguins were his favourite.
I know. He must have fell with Maltesers and all. He don't mention them for ages. His contract must be done with him.
He's getting sponsored with Bliss now.
Oh dear.
He's picture all in the back of his jammies, can't you? Bliss.
Sorry, Davey, we're laughing. Keeps us going.
Oh, we still do. He's always a one way, isn't he? At least you always get a laugh with him.
Okay, absolutely.
Listen, I get a lot of great points. The last few nights there's been some superb callers, Port Bear, and the boy from Denmark with guys from all over the world the last few days, and it's difficult to argue, and obviously in hindsight we've made mistakes. You shouldn't have said this one, you should let that one go, you should do this, you can do that. But the thing about it is now, players, once you've given them a contract, mate, and they've got a 4-year deal, they don't need to go anywhere. It's modern football, it's difficult, isn't it?
Power to the players, mate. It's a totally different generation to the current, the way contracts work out, and it's not a normal job where you can decide where, if you're not doing your job correctly, where they're the door sort of idea. These guys sign a 4-year contract, 2-year contract, well, they've got every right to sit on that, whether it be the bench, and see it out, because they might not get as good a money wherever else to go next. And that's just the way it is. I just think, right now, mate, in regards to Rangers, one thing that frustrated me the other day, just on the match again, was that ball behind me, no threat, didn't turn their defence once.
No,
I think they looked...
So Carla's got to get up and play between the fullback and the centre half, mate. With his pace,
Yeah.
There's a problem, yeah.
And I think we look one pace in midfield next year. And I think that's how guys like Hatate and Aaron Moyes on the other side of his career, mate. And he ran back.
Lundstrom ran away for him. Lundstrom ran away for him.
Aye. Yeah, we were still overrun in the middle of the park, which, that's a pet hate. I mean,
Anyway,
I keep
we've been joined by our Bobby. Evening, Bobby. Or his friends call him Robert. How we doing, Bobby boy?
Oh, bad. Just want to pick up on the midfield situation. I used to be a junior player myself, mate. And my idea was when you lost the ball, or you put it out to somebody, you go and tackle them. Yeah?
I can't remember, yeah.
But, see, I play for no Rangers or Celtic or Shilton, and I play for Shilton and Blantyre Vicks, yeah?
Nah.
And my thing was to think when your attack loss, you get in there and tackle. You don't sit back. And that's what we do. Well, there's a big space all in our midfield.
Do you think, Bobby, that's because the pivot, the middle of the midfield, which was Lundstrom and Sunday, he's playing that close to the two centre-halves, mate? He then can't get close to McGregor because he's actually 40 yards away from him.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the issue.
Well,
that's the issue.
These midfield players, we would be right on top of them, right? No, I didn't know football. I used to be a midfielder, and I didn't know football. So you try to look for your left wingers, or you try to look for your right wingers, or you try to place a ball. We're not doing that. We're sitting there facing the back and saying there's a big space here, big, huge space, and the other teams can run through us.
I think that this trying to make a back five or the centre midfield man getting in so the fullbacks can go forward, it gives you other problems, Linda.
Yeah, just what you were saying there, Ox. But I think it also, Bobby, I don't know if you agree, you know, you need players that are fit. You know, to play in the middle of the park, you need to have a certain level of fitness, and you need players to be 100% on their game. I think you can probably get away with maybe Bobby having a wee injury, a wee knock. But we played John Lundstrom, who's hardly kicked a ball for nearly a month. And then we decided to change the shape and bring young Tillman back into the midfield as well, Bobby. And he hadn't been playing in that position. So, I mean, it's all relative. But I don't know, Ox. The way that modern football is just now, it just seems to be not as simple as it was in years gone by.
Yeah. Port Bear, thoughts?
I absolutely agree with what Linda's saying. You've got a player that you know can sign a 4-year contract, come in. It doesn't work out for him. He knows he's not going to get that money anywhere else. I remember a certain player doing it over the other side of the road, a centre half, and sat for 3 years on the bench and took his money because
Have you just done a bridge, man, and missed out a whole question? I'm talking about the space in the midfield.
Certainly, mate, the space in midfield, I said it. I think Carl McGregor get fat. He was like a quarterback, mate. He dictated the pace of the game. None of your midfielders, or even my forward line, or Fred line, they go and try and pressure him. But as you said, John Lundstrom's 40 yards for him. Nobody goes. I can't recall a tackle in my head, mate, where somebody's went and engaged Carl McGregor once. I think he just run and basically supply Moy and Akati the whole game, and we were absolutely overrun. And I seen that in the first 20 minutes, Ox, dear. So that's where I was expecting. Right, come on, Michael Beale, you need to get in your crust here. You need to make a change. You need to get legs in there. Somebody needs to go and engage with Callum McGregor because everything's going through him. Absolutely everything. And I think that wee simple tweak, Ox, dear, would have made a massive difference. Because like I says, they weren't great either. But everything was going through Callum McGregor, and he absolutely strolled the match because it. And we were one pace and miles off it in the middle of the park.
Aye, that's my issue, Bobby. The pivot, if you like, with that 3 we played was far too deep. Yeah, he's actually playing closer to your goalkeeper than he is the other opposition's midfielders, Bobby.
Yes, Well, I gave a cause, and I've been saying all along. McGregor was running the game yesterday, totally running the game. And he's not a great player. We should have somebody right in top of him, right? When I used to play junior football, I played with Jinky and Paul Wilson, right? So if I've lost the ball, I don't know what to do with the ball, I'll put it with Jinky, right? But I'll follow him up. We don't seem to do that. We just seem to stand static and let McGregor play the ball. The worst of all is Muya, whatever his name is. He's nearly older than me, and he's running through us.
Well, he I know there's a lot of. I'm going to tell you something. We can blame the manager, right? I'll go to Linda first, then I'll come down to use two guys, right? If something's not going right on the football part, when you're on there and you can see it yourself, you've got to do something that's different, Linda. You've got a responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely, and it doesn't matter what team sport you're playing, Ox. You've got a certain amount of responsibility on the part. You can't constantly be looking over at the manager, tell us what to do. I mean, it comes back to the point that we've said before as well. This whole thing about we've not got enough leaders as well on the part that can take action and sort things out. It's that is a bit of an issue for us. When you look at somebody like Stephen Davis, right? He was a leader. Stephen could maybe see that things aren't working and would do something to change it. We've got Alan McGregor. He's in the goal. We're relying on maybe like Connor Golson and Tavernier speaking up. But I think there's a real lack of that in the team generally, Ox. People that can see things on the pitch and fix them.
Port Bear, and then we'll go to Bobby.
I agree with Linda, mate. I totally agree with her. I just think, players have got a responsibility. I keep saying this, but a player's got at any level, whether it's kids up to senior level, I've got a responsibility. When you're given instruction, you're training all week, you're working on a game plan. In the first 20 minutes, if that game plan's not going to the way you've trained for, then surely the captain's got to then start speaking to the team, get messages from the manager. But fundamentals of football, Oxshare, is you should be doing your job. The manager's got his job today, which is coach the team, manage the team through the game. But there seemed to be a disconnect at the weekend, mate. Now, you've just said you noticed it. Linda said seen it. All the callers tonight have seen it. Everybody that probably watched the match and was at the match of the weekend probably seen the first 20 minutes. We were struggling and we were starting to go over in midfield, and there was no reaction. And that's the thing that concerns me, mate. There's no reaction to the players. I didn't see players batting each other. Usually when things aren't going your way in a game, you'll have a wee fault with your mucker next to you, a bit of shouting and bawling, and sometimes that can help fire you. Or your manager will step out to the touchline and he'll throw back in orders at you again. That can lift you again. But there seemed to be a disconnect, mate. And like I says, maybe this team's run its course, Oxshare, and this is a team it's coming to its end. And I'll ask you something back, mate. Is this time for a rebuild?
I think that's a good question. But the trouble is, mate, if we rebuild and we bring in the same amount of players and the same amount of players are injured, we'll not have any team. Bobby Angie will be getting a game. Bobby.
I could probably play better than him.
Aye, well, but the gap, the disconnect, you've got a responsibility, Bobby, ain't you? Not everybody plays well, but every game it doesn't come off for you, particularly front players. You try something that doesn't come off. But you've got to do some of the basics right, yeah?
You've got to do... Listen, obviously, I'm only going back to junior football. When I played banter at Celtic, I wanted to beat them. It didn't matter how. I was in about them, right, just because of the name, right? No, we've not got that, but we're sitting here. We might beat Kilmarnock 4-0, but that doesn't matter. We need to beat them.
Aye, I get it, mate. I get it.
And where this is going to come from, I don't know. Not with that team.
Recruitment, mate. Recruitment, I mean, obviously, they've talked about it before, guys you bring in. First of all, Linda, they've got to be fitting on the park before they can influence anything.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. As we said earlier, you know, we signed 7 players in the summer, and you know we've hardly seen them. You know, half of them. I think they've only been they've only been available. I think for something like 50% of the games or something. I read that. Somebody
I think it was
posted
43% the stat I read today.
Was it 43, Ox? Was it?
Aye.
43% have been unavailable for. Was it? Yeah. So that's you know, I don't know of any other team that's happened to. I've never seen a stat like that ever. I mean, we've had injuries in the past, but not. I mean, that was, as I said earlier, you know, the team was ready to evolve a wee bit, and this is just what's happened. You know, when you can think about even somebody like, there's an example, Tom Lawrence, what a start he had made. We don't know how he would have been on Ox, you know, but he was scoring goals, he was assisting, and then he gets injured and we've not seen him. And then we go out and we sign one of the most promising young left backs, we've been told, you know, because that's obviously hopefully they've done their homework. And that young boy tears his hamstring, and we've not seen him. Is that 4 months now? So you're right, Ox. You know, we couldn't have legislated for it. And you've brought 9 players in, and we've hardly seen any of them.
It's pretty frightening, really. Well, we've reached that time of the evening. Bobby, I've got a question for you.
Yeah, mate.
What's your biscuit of choice?
Biscuit of choice? Well, I used to work my vitties. Yeah. Digestive.
I just want to run you by this, Linda.
Right.
I don't know what Davey was getting at, but you've got to watch. Because these Bliss biscuits, yeah, it was the same message it was in the card they sent you. Enjoy me, guilt-free.
I told you not to tell anybody about that.
There you go. Bobby, always a pleasure to speak to you soon, mate.
Can I to say something to you?
Aye, mate.
I'm moving for the East End to Drumchapel. I'll be Road. So I'll have another call, I'll have another phone number. But I'm still with you, mate. Right, okay, mate?
Take it easy, mate.
Okay, right, cheers, mate.
Cheers. Port Bear. Port Bear. Wonder.
Oh, great show tonight. I don't know what's happened to Port.
We've got a new bridge on Marhon.
We have, I think. Oh, great show tonight. It was good being on with Port when he was joining in, and your good self, Ox. Everything's we're still hurting, Ox, but we'll move on and we'll look forward to the weekend's game. But as I say, it was great being on. Enjoyed it.
Cheers. GB's just texts me, the lights are on but nobody's in, Linda. I don't know who he's talking about.
You know, there's a line one mucker. So I can.
Port Bear.
Aye, mate. They said still hurting, you know, but it's time to look forward. Bill was warned when he got the job, mate. Us Cheers fan demand silverware. That's what we deserve as a support. I'm still on Michael Beale's train, mate. I think I'm still excited under his coaching and his ability as a manager. And onwards and upwards. Thanks for having us tonight. Linda, great to be on with you, pal. And look after yourselves, guys.
Yeah, it was good to hear from Bobby, Ian for YouTube, Ian for Denmark, yeah. John, old Davey. And hopefully I didn't miss anybody out. Good to hear for you all. Listen, thanks to your good selves, Port and Linda, for doing the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. And you never know, we may have a different subject. Take it away, Old School Blue.